it is Aimee Carlson. We are here to do our September paint and sip. Now I have the photo up here on my iPad. Look at this adorable fall gnome. He's got a cup of coffee in his hands and it says, "But first, coffee." So this is going to be a super fun one to paint. I just keep this in front of me. So as you're doing this live, what you can do is print that out so you have the physical picture in front of you to use as your inspiration for how you want to paint this fall gnome. So I'm going to go through the list of supplies that we need, and of course I'm going to put this all in the description. If you're subscribed to my newsletter, my monthly newsletter, you'll get everything listed in there. Well, it goes on the blog and I link you to the blog, and I actually have links where you can go and buy the products as well on my blog. So if you're not subscribed to my blog yet, it's just ArtbyAimeeCarlson.com. There's a link right on the front of my website that you can go in and subscribe to. And then you'll get these in your inbox every month when I do my live videos. So let's go through the supplies. And hey, if you watched the last live with me, you know that this is a work in progress. I'm working through this. I haven't done it before. I'm teaching it to you. So hang in there with me. We're going to work this together. So I'm using an 11 by 14 canvas. You can get these anywhere. Dollar General has them for very inexpensive. If you do a lot of painting, obviously you want to buy them bulk. Hobby Lobby, Amazon. I also use push pins in mine. It's much easier, especially when we get started working with our wet paint, to pick up with the push pins rather than grabbing and constantly having our hands wet or run the risk of getting paint a different color where we don't want it. So push pins are fantastic to use. Not necessary, but I like to use them. A cup of water. We're going to need that as we go through. Now I put all of my paints on a paper plate. So I have some of them on this larger one, some on the smaller one. I like to give myself areas where I can mix paints and use as a palette. Just so you know. And really all we need are a dark brown, a light brown, a dark yellow, a light yellow, a white, a black, and a dark pink and a light pink. So the colors I chose was Mars Black. You can see I don't have a ton of paint on my plate. It's always easier to squirt out more if you need it. So start with less than wasting the paint. Some of these dollops, you'll see I have way too much on my palette anyway. So Mars Black and just titanium white are your basics. And then I used raw umber for my dark brown. I really wanted to stay with warm tones for this. So raw umber. My light tan is actually a warm gray. These can all be purchased through Hobby Lobby, and again I will put the link up for that in the blog. The yellows, I'm using a yellow ochre, has a real warm tone to it, and I'm also using a bit of medium yellow. So this is our more warm yellow that we can use to have that lighter yellow. And then I just chose a light pink and a rose pink. These are gonna go in his nose. When we make his nose, not much gets used for that at all. Again, paper towels, have stuff that you can wipe your hands off with. The cup of water, make sure you have that. You will need a pencil. When we get done with the background, I'm actually going to do a little bit of outlining so I kind of know where I want everything to be. So we need a pencil and a hair dryer. So if you have a hair dryer, you can grab and use to make it easier for your painting to dry. That way we can make our pencil marks on it. Now the brushes that I have, again, I paint all the time, so you guys might not have exactly what I use, but I have, this one is a flat, and I don't see what the number is. Number 8 looks like. I've got so much paint over time, but it's a large flat paintbrush. We're going to use that a lot for our background. Fan brushes, I love, love, love fan brushes. This one is a number 8 as well. It's a larger one. When we get it wet, the bristles will lay down on that. And then I have a smaller flat brush I'm going to use in some of the smaller detail areas. These are Dagger paintbrushes that I get. You can use liners, or small flat paintbrushes to give you that flat tip. These are great. They use a couple different ways. I'll show you as we're painting. Some ways we're fanning it, some ways we're actually using more of the point to get more of that detailed work done. And I have my daggers are a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, and a 3/8 inch. So I have all 3 sizes. I don't know, I might only use one, who knows? I may use just a couple of brushes, but this is what I'm going to start with, okay? So all of our paints are out. Now, we're going to get started here, and what I'm going to tell you from the get-go is in this background, I'm going to go ahead and put my paintbrush in the water just to get it activated, and I'm going to use quite a bit of water in the background with this. I want to make sure I'm working fast with this. So what I'm going to grab is the darkest color paint first. If you're seeing our paint, the bottom part is very dark and then we're going light. We're going to make this look like wood behind him, and we're going to paint the whole canvas so that we don't have anything left, any blank spaces when we go to make his whiskers and his hair coming out from his beard. We're going to paint the whole thing. It all remains pretty dark on the bottom. So we're going to start dark on the bottom and we're going to pull that up. And I am going to work pretty fast through this first phase because I want to be able to get that wood look, and we want to move through here quickly. So let's grab some water. I'm going to grab my darkest brown, and I'm just going to start painting on the bottom, and I'm going to start pulling upwards with it. So, and I have my brush pretty wet. Don't forget about your sides. Come on in those sides. Again, don't worry about perfection with this. This is our background. We want it to look like wood. I think sometimes when we overthink it can get less of what we want it to be. I'm going to get my sides painted here real quick. So I have those done. Again, see, I can hang on to these posts that I use, my push pins. Makes it really easy to have this up off the surface and get those sides painted so that if I wanted to hang this just as the canvas, I can super easy. All right. If you need to get more water on your brush to keep that paint flowing, the thicker we paint, the harder this is going to be to blend. So again, I'm grabbing a little bit more water, and all I'm looking to do is get this pulled up. I'm not even going to necessarily come all the way to the top. I just want to start mixing this in. So I'm grabbing more water, grabbing more of that dark color, and I'm spreading this up. My main concern with this dark, as I come up with it, is making sure that this bottom has the darkest area. We're going to get lighter as we go up, so that's what we want. And think about, he's going to have kind of the darkest areas right around him. So he's going to be in the middle. I'm going to kind of take this dark. I'm hoping you can see me. I am seeing comments on here. We are making a fall gnome. What's the question? What are we making? Please say hi, Sydney. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. It's going to be hard for me to read your guys' comments while I'm trying to paint. And go, okay, so let me show this to you. I've kind of left the top, and we want this wet, and we want to keep on moving. Now, I'm going to grab my fan brush, and I'm going to start grabbing some of that warm gray. So the warm gray, now I'm going to start coming and pulling down from the top. Okay, I'm just pulling this down from the top. So let me get it painted up here across the top, and we're just going to pull down the lightest is up on this top area. The fan brush we love to work with because it gives us that look that we're looking for here. We're just pulling, if we are not getting coverage, get more water on here, and we're just pulling down with that fan brush that's going to keep it looking like the wood. So we're just pulling down. We're not getting this blended in. In fact, I keep picking up water to make sure that we're not blending in and trying to stay straight with my brush strokes. Okay? I'm going to pick it up again and show you. See, now we're starting to get that real wood look. Let's get some of that ochre look in here, right? So in our picture, we've got some light, that yellow kind of blended in here in those panels of wood. We're just going to kind of blend that in. I don't have much. I'm going to put just a smidgen over here on this side. And this is your painting, guys. So if you want more of this yellow to be in there and mixing in, by all means, feel free to do so. I'm going to bring just a little bit down here from the top. There we go. This, again, not blending this in. See how I put this yellow in again? Here's my picture that we're using. I'll have this posted on the page. Okay, now again, working really fast, and some in the middle is not all the way painted. That's okay, because that is where the gnome is going to be. Now I'm going to go back. We have black actually in here. I'm going to take some of this black and this warm gray. I'm mixing this together. Now I'm putting my wood panels in. So I'm going to come kind of straight up, and I'm going to give some wood paneling in here. I'm getting that darker color in here, and I'm just going to do a couple pieces in here. And I'm going to kind of get some of this darker in the bottom. I'm grabbing just some of this black and bringing up some black in here. And you can take this fan brush and go on the side and really start getting your grains of wood in there. This is yours to make that wood how you want it to look. So don't feel shy, but again, we're not blending this completely in. And don't be shy of that water. The water will really help make this so that it doesn't blend all in. We want this to look like the wood. And I went just a little too much with that. I like it a little lighter up here on the top, so I'm going to come back over with some of that light color there. Okay, I think my panels look pretty darn good. You can see we've set up with some panels on here. And then we're going to take that fan brush again. My paper towel is getting really nasty. I am going to go into that light warm gray, the tan color, the very light tan. And I'm going to put that piece of wood right on he's sitting on a shelf. So I'm going to take and put this piece of wood right here at the bottom. And I'm just going to come across almost, it's kind of an angle here. And we're getting that looking like it's coming from the other direction. And I'm going to do a little bit of dark in here because I only wanted that highlighted on the top. So again, we're making that wood look like it's going across on the bottom. Super simple marks. They were making it look like there's a ledge at the bottom, all right? We have our sides painted all the way around, even though they're dark in some of the areas and they're not, that's okay. All right, I'm gonna grab another paper towel. Now, we can slow down. But this part we want to work a little bit quicker so that nothing dries and we're really getting that ability to blend in. That's why we're using the water and we're working through it really fast. So that didn't take us very long and we've worked through that. Let's grab a paper towel and stick this aside, and let's grab our hair dryer and let's get this nice and dry before we start penciling on it, okay? I'm a messy painter. Obviously, let's just, we're just trying to get this done. What we're looking for when we dry it is there any real shiny areas left on the canvas? That'll indicate wet paint. I have a little bit on the sides, but through the center, I'm pretty dry. Now, this is not going to be real, exact. Again, I think the better paintings turn out when we are just really, let it just flow. Let it be real creative. So on the bottom, I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way towards the top. And when we paint, I'm going to kind of do the same thing too. As I was looking at the picture, again, remember we're painting this little fall gnome guy. And I think we need to get his shoes laid in there because then his beard is laying over top of his shoes. Then we're going to paint the coffee cup in here, or the coffee cup actually is going to go first because the hair comes over top of that coffee cup too. We get the hands, the coffee cup, we put the feet in there, the coffee cup is hands, then we get this lower beard, then we get his mustache, we get his nose laid in there, his hat, and then we'll do the lettering afterwards. I hope I said that in the right direction. So his feet, the coffee cup and the hands, and the nose. We're going to get those all drawn in. We're going to draw everything in, and we're going to paint in that order. Then we're going to come back and do his beard. Then we're going to do his hat. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Let me know if that works out for you. So what I'm doing is, the feet are, he's really centered here. So again, we're not exact, and hopefully because we're dark, this is going to show up. I'm just making some rounded feet here. The beard's going to cover a lot of it. So all we're wanting is like the ends of his shoes. I'm going to come into the middle, and I'm going to go right back out. I'm making semicircles. They're pretty big. For his shoes, okay? So again, everything's going to get painted over. Don't worry if you're exact. You just want to be able to kind of see these markings when you come in. And, I don't really necessarily want to use white. If you've got chalk, that might work a little bit better for you. Okay, so I have the feet laid in. Again, I can see it on that dark. You guys can kind of see it there. Next, his coffee cup is going to kind of lay right in over top. We're going to give just a smidge of space, but we're going to lay this big old coffee cup. Make that coffee cup look however you want. This is just a round saucer cup. That's what I'm going to stick with. But if you want a different cup, by all means, go for it. And it's going to be gray in the picture. I'm going to do it just like it is. So I'm just going to come in and just pencil in, because all I'm trying to do is get an idea of where I want everything. It really is not showing up well. I I hesitate to use, I've got acrylic markers here. I'm going to try using an acrylic marker. It'll get painted over, but. So the edge of it just kind of comes down right into his foot here. And then we have kind of the bottom that's going to come right through this area here. And we have the other edge coming up here. His hands are going to come over top of it as well. And we're going to really kind of make that go out. And if we messed it up, like the edging on here, I'm using an acrylic marker. Again, you guys, this all is going to get covered up. It's going to half circle down so that we have that open cup, and half circle over. And then the handle will paint in. We don't have to necessarily draw that. We're just trying to get everything positioned in here. We're going to have our hands right next to that coffee cup. He's hanging on to that. So his hand is coming around. It's like almost dented in, and then give it a thumb. It's almost like a big old glove. And we're going to just give him a nice big fat hand that's just hanging on to that coffee cup. We're going to do the same thing over here. He's kind of got his thumb, and then we're going to groove that out to give his nice big hand just hanging on to that coffee cup. So laying that all in, we're going to go up now because we have this is his beard that's coming down. We're going to have his mustache coming around, and we're going to give him a big old nose right underneath of his hat. So that nose is going to be nice and big, and that's about his hat. Brim of his hat is about halfway, maybe a little bit further down. Maybe I want to take this down just a little bit more, and it's just a nice big circle coming around here, giving him that nice big gnome nose, okay? And I don't have to have that all the way colored in. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that's what we're drawing in. And then we're going to give him the brim to his hat. We're going to bring that nice and around. It doesn't quite, on this side, it goes, to the end of his hand. On this side, it also goes out towards the end of his hand. So there is the brim of his hat is nice and curved here. And then I'm just going to take our pen and I'm going to just mark that in. Again, chalk would be fantastic to use here if you have that. Now, for the hat, I'm just going to draw a triangle, and I'm going to make the cushioning of his hat come out later. But right now, I'm just drawing a triangle right on down from the very top. It'll be higher on one side and just bringing it down. I'm going to make the hat look like the hat as I paint it. And the one side is lower than the other side, all right? And then that hat is just going to be just inking right around here, and then we're going to bring it right on over and make it look like the curved hat. Does that make sense? Okay? And again, this does not have to be perfect because we're going to paint over top of it. So when I draw, it does not look good at all. All right, we're going to take that flat, the smaller flat brush now. And I might rethink this. We might do him from his hat down first. Do the hat, do the nose, do the cup, the hands, the feet, and then we'll do the beard last. That way we're not reaching across the wet paint. So let's do the hat first. So to begin with, I'm going to just grab, and I'm wet. I'm getting this nice and wet. So I'm going to just grab this warm gray, that light tan color. We're filling it in what we drew, okay? All we're doing is just filling in. We don't worry about the lines, how this is going to fill in. But again, in this phase, because we do have to blend, I'm going to take my brush strokes and I'm going to work it across the hat so that my brush strokes go across the hat. So I'm going to grab it from the outside and come to the inside. Again, I'm just using this warm gray light gray, warm gray is my light tan color, and I'm grabbing the paint and just pulling it across. If I get outside the lines, not a big deal because we're gonna go and finish it up. Don't worry about being perfect here, and we do come straight down the hat. So we've just kind of making the shape of that hat. Again, I'm very light with my paint. This does not have to be dark. I'm using a lot of water because I want to be able to blend. And we're just coming across here. Now I'm going to grab just a smidgen of that dark brown and I'm going to mix that in with the tan. I'm giving some dark so that I can give some kind of highlights to this. I'm pulling out from the outer edge of that dark, and I'm gonna make it look like it's a rounded hat. This is what I'm doing, is creating some depth to this hat by pulling from the outside. Again, this is super light. We're not making this real dark. I'm gonna get, I want a little bit of a shadow up here at the top. I want a little bit of shadow right here at the bottom and along the edges here. When we shadow the edges, that's really gonna help us make it look rounded. So it's, excuse me, more rounded. I'm coming back over with my light color again, because I really want that to kind of blend in. We don't really need this to be just on the edges. We're going to take that right around. I'm going to get a little smidge, just a little, mixed in with my tan. Now I'm really mixing these paints in. I'm going to give a little bit of yellow ochre here at the top of his, right before we get to his brim. I'm going to kind of give some yellow ochre. All these different colors in here is going to give some depth to him, and just kind of look and see, where is the light hitting this hat? I'm going to have my light coming from this side over, is how this picture is represented here. So I'm giving that yellow in here, and now I want to grab a little bit of the white. I'm going to put it on my tray. I'm going to mix some tan in here, make just a super, super light tan. Notice I haven't used a ton of water and taken it off, and that's okay. I'm going to kind of give him some lights, really light areas coming from the side over here. Again, we're picking up some water. Don't worry about changing it. We're just adding in some of that light coloring, because that is all coming from this side. And we're going to finish him off. I'm going to give just a smidgen of it over here, really, so you can see is that making sense how his hat is looking? I really like it. I'm going to give some lightness in here. I'm just coming across, as we work with it when it's wet, we can really get this where it doesn't look like it's just painted, you know, one dries and then we bring in the other. I really like this more blended look, you know, keeping a lot of water mixed in here. And then we're going to get some of this dark, and we're going to come in and make his rim. Now, with my fat brush, the flat one, is about the right width of this entire brim. I can just come in here with one stroke and go around with it. I'm still going to pick up some of that yellow, some of that light tan. We're really kind of blending these in, and I'm going to give some mixed coloring into this. I want a little bit more yellow ochre in here. That yellow ochre just adds such a nice little pop with this. And I rinse that out, and now I'm gonna get some of this just light tan. I'm just gonna give this, so it's just not a solid color here. And notice I haven't done our edges yet from the hat, from any of this yet. I don't need to be doing that just quite yet. We're gonna come back for that in a little bit. I want that lightest color right here in the center. And now I have my hat getting pretty finished there. One of the things I want to do is want just a little bit of that darker. I'm going to take a little bit of black right here on the bottom to make that nice and darker right at the bottom. Okay, so all of the detail we're going to come with at the end. So the hat is now done, the rim is done on it, the lot of the detail stuff we're going to come back in. Let's go to the nose. We're really going to kind of clean this out. Now, I still have tan down here. It's kind of a mess on my plate. I don't know about you guys and your plates, but his hands have not a lot of pink in it. I'm going to grab some of this tan. I'm trying not to get too much with the darker color in here. I'm going to give kind of this whole nose a tan. We're going to just paint some tan around here. I'm going to go straight down in the middle, and I'm going to come around the edges with my brush, so my strokes are all going to go in the same direction here. Okay, so straight down through the middle, and then blending it on the side. I'm going to do the same thing with my hands here, guys. I'm going to paint those little hands in the tan color first, bringing that all around my cup. He's going to be so cute. I cannot wait to see him. So we're just giving his hands some shape here. He does come over top of that cup. We're just mixing this in. Again, I work pretty fast here, so if we're moving too fast and you guys want to slow it down, by all means, stop it, come back to it. That's totally okay. But the faster we work, then we're really working with our colors. I'm going to take my darkest pink now, and I'm really going to give him some color in the middle of his nose. And we're just going to blush that out. I'm going to grab some more of the lighter color on top of that. We really want to give him some blush tones in here and really mix that in. We're going to pull some of this lighter underneath, and I might not have had the real differentiation with those colors. My darker pink is not super dark, and that's okay, but I am going to try to come in with a little bit more to really give this down here, you know, on his nose. I really want kind of a darker print in here. I'm going to take some of that white now, and I'm going to really mix it in with this tan, and we're going to start there, and we're going to really lighten up around the edges, around the top. Going to get some light color in there. We're going to come around this edge over here, and we're going to give some light color there. Oh, his nose is going to look so cute. And then I'm going to take just a weensy bit of white only, and I'm just with like the tip of this, I'm just coming in and giving a little highlight to his nose, right on the tips of his nose. Give it a little highlight. This needs a little bit more tan color in here. I'm going to come back through. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, can you all see my nose there? We just really laid that out nicely. Again, I'm using that same color. I'm going to kind of come in a little bit. I may come with some more highlight with this when I get done. I need some of this lighter color to really lighten up his hands, where we want to give some more dimension to his hands. We're bringing that in. Again, these are light brush strokes that I'm making across on this hand. I'm just using a combination of the white and the tan. I'm making it much lighter on the top here and just kind of brushing this out. So we're just letting that kind of brush out real light with those strokes and letting that blend in. This paint is drying over here on us, so we're really getting kind of a unique little stroke here on there. And once again, this is all we needed for this. Super easy. Now we have our hands looking super cute here, okay? Now let's do gray and white, or white and black to make our gray. I'm gonna just stick with this flat one that I'm using. And I'm gonna grab just a smidgen of black, and that's probably even too much. And actually, I'm gonna take this black because this is gonna be what curves around the bottom here. And we're just gonna paint that in. Now, we're gonna start grabbing some white. So we're working our way up, and we're just grabbing more white, more white, more white. We're just gonna keep getting lighter and lighter as this comes up. Again, too much going over it is gonna keep this where we end up blending it too much in, and then it doesn't look like how we wanted it to be. So the more we can really kind of let those strokes go, the better off we're gonna be. And again, remember, we're gonna come back over all of this with the details, our detail brush. So we're gonna get a way more detailed and really fixing that as we get done. All right, the coffee obviously is going to be brown. So here I've just kind of drawn in a little bit of my cup. I'm gonna take this end here, needs to be a little bit darker. I'm gonna get a little bit detailed with this. I want, again, when we make our edges darker, we're making that have a rounded form. So we really want to pay attention that we're getting those darker edges to really get that rounded form on here. So that's what I'm going to do, is really bring this dark in here and creating that depth of that roundness. And I'm going to have that dark hit us right at the top as well. Okay, now we'll rinse a little bit and let's go with our brown. Solid brown in here. That darker brown is going right inside our circle, and we're going to get that coffee started. Maybe it's hot cocoa, maybe you don't do coffee, maybe you do tea, maybe you want to make this a little bit more browns and yellows because you're more of a tea drinker. I'm going to add in some swirls here of some lighter colors from some of the palette that I already had. Bringing this around on that top. And really giving that the look and depth of having some coffee in here. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Again, I'm not going to get detailed. His handle needs to come into his hand. That's what we're missing over here on this side. Silly me. And on the bottom of this one, I want just a little bit more. There we go. All right, so let's take one of our daggers. Actually, I'm going to go with the smaller one. And we have some white and gray mixed over here already, so I want the darker color. So the handle is going to come right from about halfway. Let's get more black over here. Come on, black. Give me some white. Let's get that gray. All right, here we go. So we're going to have this handle come right around, and we're going to scoop on down towards the bottom of this cup. So it comes right on down and doesn't quite hit the bottom of the cup, but it's in there, okay? So I'm doing kind of all gray. I've made it maybe a 1/2 inch thick. Can you see my handle there? Coming right up, right over his hand. Now I'm going to use this small digger again. I'm grabbing just black now, and I'm coming right over the top. So I'm using my very pointy edge, and I'm coming right over the top of this and doing this side. And if we don't get it perfect, that's okay. We're all right. This video is going to be a little bit longer because this guy's going to take us a little bit of time, and that's all right. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. We're actually going to get the black coming right on down the side of this. I know I'm not supposed to be doing details yet, but I'm just kind of getting that drawn in. And I'm going to come over on this side too. I'm going to bring this cup. Putting this in here is going to really kind of define this cup for us, guys. There we go. I'm just giving the outline of that cup some definition. I'm going to do the same thing up here at the top. I'm going to get a little bit more water in here. Grab that paint. Water makes it flow, and we're going to just kind of give this a nice edge right around the top. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. There we go. Now, we have the black, we have the gray. Now we need to come in with our light. It's not totally white yet, and I'm just going to lighten up right around the edge here. Right around, giving that light color into this cup, into this handle. I want a little bit darker gray right at the end here. There we go. And actually, we're actually very dark on the inside of the handle here versus what I've got depicted in here. So, all right, we're getting some light colors in here, and we might have to let that dry a little bit and come back into it. All right, cup, hands, nose are all done. Let's go ahead and give the flat brush again, and let's get his shoes in here. We're going to go back to that dark brown. And remember where you drew those shoes in. Again, most of this shoe is going to get overlaid with the hair of his beard. But let's go ahead and draw that in and get these shoes of his laid in here with this dark brown. Coming all the way across, going all the way up here. You're giving him some nice, fun little shoes. All right, and we're going to get some light tan going in here. Maybe. And we're just going to give a little bit of shape. We're just giving some shape to his by starting with that light and pulling it across. Okay? So we're just adding a little bit of light in here, giving some dimension to those shoes, and we're just pulling it across and just giving some shape to those shoes at the bottom. Okay? And I'm gonna have that straight all the way across. There, I'm having it more on one side. The other side, remember our light came from this side. We're gonna have just a little bit coming on the very edge of this, pulling in. We're just letting that pull on in there. And otherwise, I'm kind of leaving him pretty blank over here on this side. So shoes are laid in here. Yay! Now we can come across and do I'm going to keep, I want the black, but I'm going to use a lot of white with this. Now, for his mustache and beard, I want to kind of do his, we just did the shoes, so let's get our hair dryer back out and dry this. We really want to start down there. Okay. Pretty thick on this bottom paint here. So in our picture, his, whoops, how about this one? His beard the coffee cup is laying in his beard. So we've got to make that appearance look that way. So we're going to cover that bottom beard all the way up to just underneath of his nose, and then we're going to do the mustache, okay? All right, so I'm going to start with my fan brush, and I want this black over here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some black right along the bottom of this coffee cup, and rounding out and coming with underneath of his hand. This one might be too big. I'm going to use a smaller one here. So I'm going to get this black, actually, where's my flat? I'm going to use the flat because this has got to be really black, and we're going to pull that black. So I'm going to put this black using the flat all the way around his hand up to about halfway up. This is going to create that depth there. Excuse me. I'm going to be pulling this away from the bottom of my cup all the way around here, and just kind of get that black right in there, okay? So I'm just making the black right around the bottom so that when I do grab my fan brush with the white on it, now when I pull down with this, so from his hand, I'm going to be pulling this down, and I'm going to actually come over here. I'm coming down, and I'm really creating a fun beard. You can make this however you want to make it. I'm going to have it coming right up here and swishing over. The fan brush just makes it work so well. Again, using water, and I'm just pulling this down. And again, don't overwork this part, and you might want to do it from the side. But all we're doing is pulling this beard down, and I'm going to have some of it coming up here. Again, I need more white, and pulling this around. We might use our pointers. See how we're starting to get his beard laying in here? We really got this laying in. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's do the same thing. We have a little bit of a beard over on the left hand here. So I'm going to grab Get a little bit of black in here. I'm mixing that in. Around his hand, we're going to have it kind of comes down in this little triangle, and we're working it right on out here. So let's do that to start with. Okay. And then underneath his nose, again, let's grab our flat brush with water. I'm not getting that too rinsed off. And underneath his nose, we're going to lay so much, you know, we're going to lay the lines in to really start this beard. We're going to do the same thing that we did. We're getting that dark in here up around his nose. We're pulling away from it. And we're getting that flat edge right around there so that when we go to make the whiskers, we can be pulling that black right into it and blending that all in. And again, we're going all the way up and around, and we're getting that black really mixed in. I'm going to take this black right across the top of his hat as well, and let that kind of blend in. We have quite a bit coming down here that we're going to let that kind of come down underneath of him. So we're taking the black, centering it all the way around the nose there. I just dipped my finger in it. And then up against the edges of the hat. We're going to take that fan brush again. Get the water in the white. I'm getting a little bit more paint on this. And now, to start with, I'm going to come straight down towards the coffee cup. Straight down. Remember, this is part of his beard still. So we're coming straight down and towards that coffee cup. And then this part is actually going to kind of pull down and around. I'm going to kind of pull this beard down and around. And we'll fix this all here in a little bit. We're just getting the layout of what this is going to look like. All right. Now let's get his mustache part. So this I'm going to pull down and around, and I'm going to just keep on grabbing white. I'm going to keep on pulling down and around. I'm going to make his mustache really out there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And pull down, and we're just pulling this guy out and making his whiskers come on out here. Doesn't he look so cute? So now we're just gonna play with that. You know, we've got the shape of his beard and his mustache in here. So now it's up to you of just exactly how you want that to look. So I can grab my dagger and get some more white on here and decide how do I want it. His beard's obviously going to be fuller on the inside, so I'm grabbing more of that white paint and really pulling this down and really start giving some shape to that. That's where I'm using it at the angle. I'm pulling this again. We're just pulling this down and pulling it down from up here, okay? I'm just doing this through the center. I really want this shape to take place. We really need him to actually have a mustache up here. So I need to get that separation of a mustache versus the rest of it. Oh, he's so cute. And we're just going to keep whiskering out. And I might grab a little bit of black to really kind of bring this back so that we have this. There we go. And then we'll get more white. His mustache on, our beard on mine is not real thick on the bottom part, and that's okay. Because every single one of ours is going to look so different, and I cannot wait to see your guys's. This dagger is going to work fantastic for really making this beard pop. So I'm just kind of really going to take my time to kind of keep going in here. So I might not do too much talking as I'm really whiskering this out, and I encourage you guys to just make this how you want it to look. Okay, I've done a lot of playing with my beard now. I'm going to get just a little bit more of whisker-like down here, really bringing that in. I like working with it while it's still wet, so, you know, we really get that looking cute. So here's mine with its whiskers all the way around. Yay! Okay, now we need to really start playing with the details on this. So you can detail this as much as you want. All we have left to do is really finalize this hat. Let's get the details around really trimming up the bottom part of this and making it look the way that we want with all the details on here. And then writing in the "but first coffee." Now, I'm not good at stenciling free-handed words personally myself, so I'm going to let this completely dry, and then I'm going to use my acrylic markers. And I get these, and I will link this actual set, so if you guys want to use acrylic markers, these would also work really good to do those final details. If you're not steady and easy with your liner pencil, these daggers work super well for those straight lines, and that's what I will use within the painting itself. But on his wording up here, I will write this in with the acrylic markers after it completely dries, so we will not get within this live video the "but first coffee." Again, I want to show it up so you can see the "but first coffee." So "but first" on the one side with the 3 dots, and then "coffee" on the other. They used 2 different fonts. They also did white and black and gray to really give some depth to those colors. I encourage you to decide exactly how you want that to look, but you can do whatever you want with that. So first of all, I'm going to work with my small dagger because now I'm doing kind of detail stuff. I'm going to grab the black, and I'm just going to come around. I'm going to give some black shading around this hand, really kind of shade that up. I'm using water and the black. I want that to flow. I'm going to give some depth behind the hand here. Kind of have this gray, white, just kind of given so we don't have just these blunt, straight edges. I'm just bringing this around, giving some texture to it. This inside this coffee cup is the black. It's dark in here, so I'm going to come back through with the dark. Just look at your picture. I'm going to have that picture posted up for you guys, so you're going to know exactly how you want to trim this out and the detail out that you want to do with this. So I'm just going through right now, starting at the bottom and filling this dark color in like we want it here. Again, I'm keeping everything nice and wet so it flows easier. Okay, I've got some black that we're gonna really bring in and give some shading here around that handle. Bringing that around here. I also am going to pick up some of that white. I'm working right in and out between the black and the white. I'm not really rinsing. I'm wiping off with my hand if I want to. This really gives everything more of that blended look. I'm really gonna, just all I'm doing now is just really detailing out all of the finishing touches with this. So bear with me as I work with that. I'm gonna just keep grabbing the white and I'm just pulling down, giving those final details of this mug. We've got some white that's coming in around that top. So I'm just picking up little bits of white here, giving in some of those final details, working from one side, then the other. We just work with nice little simple strokes, doing the same thing around the outer edge here. We've got that white that really comes in, really giving some more detail to this cup. We're going to do the same thing with this black and the water. We're really going to kind of blend this in here on the side. I've got this hand we're going to give some detail to, bringing that around, really giving this some look here. Bringing that hand around, we're giving some more shading down here at the bottom. Really letting that kind of blend in. Bring in a little bit of his hand so we can see the detail of it up here at the top. Just a teensy-weensy bit. Kind of going in around, just giving some coloring up there to the top of that, coloring up here to the top of that hand. Again, this beard, I'm going to bring in some more of that black just to really make that beard. And that's that. I really make him pop in here so you can tell that's the difference between his mustache. I'm going to get some black kind of coming down here, a little bit much. Let's get some white blending in with that. There we go. A little bit more white. I'm just going to keep working this back and forth. If I got too much of one color, that's okay. I'm just coming in, bringing in the other color, making it fit the way that we want it to fit. I really want this black to edge around everything. So I'm going to pull this back around here. When we drew in stuff, we got that where it didn't stay nice and edged in. Now we're really starting to get that, see how that makes that nose pop more. We're really getting that edged in there. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now we're gonna come in. I've lost a lot of my tan here, but we still have some, and I want more white. I need a lot of white and a lot of tan here now. All right, so we're gonna kind of come up. Actually, hang on one second. I want to come around and really give that final circle around that nose. I'm using just the very tip of this. and really making this an actual outline to the nose here. Okay, there we go. Do the same up in here. There we go. And he also has, you know, kind of some white and gray. Get some more of that over here. So I'm gonna kind of get some white and gray coming right around the edges here. Again, now is the time to just kind of come back through and really give some detail to this. White and gray. Turn yourself around as many times as you need to. More white on that. There we go. There we go. Really giving some pop to the nose. I think I'm liking now our ending. Now I've got this light tan and white that I'm really mixing in here. And now we're just really gonna finish this hat off. So I'm gonna start here at the top. It's really light at the edges. So we're just gonna bring in, and our strokes are all going around the same way here. So I'm really making this lighter up here, not so much here, although I'm getting it, that's okay. We're gonna come back. Where's my tan? I want more tan, mixed with a little bit of brown here. We need to get more of that dark brown in here. There we go. And the dark brown is going to really shadow this in here. And then again, now we're just a matter of, you know, taking our colors, deciding how we want this to look. I'm really bringing in a lot of this light over here on this side. These side colors are gonna get, there's a lot of, I'm giving some depth to it. So I'm really creating some kind of bulk to his hat over here when I'm putting in these sides. It's not just this straight hat. And I'm going to create this nice little edge here for him. Real nice and light here. I might add just a smidge. No, I don't want that. I just want this. I'm really going to bring this up. I'm creating that more floppiness of the hat with this texture that we're creating here. I like it. See how we're making it look more of a texture there for him? I think that turned out really good. Let's get some more of this. A little bit of darker here. There we go. And we're going to mix in, there we go. We're going to really hit in some of this darker stuff over here. I'm going to give some, there we go. We're going to give some more, make that come around here. Again, creating some more of the colors and different depths here. I might have to do some more. Ah, there we go. There, I like that. Just keep working it so that it looks the way you want it to look. I want a little bit of this light here coming in at the bottom of his hat. We've got some coming across the top. We're not a solid line across here. We're just bringing in some of that light on his hat, okay? Just some. Here we go. And now I'm going to work my way up this side of the hat. Again, just really trying to get some added material in there, a little bit of added dimension in there. I like how that looks. What do you guys think? Doesn't he look cute? So we've got a nice little hat. We've got his fun little coffee cup that he is sitting there drinking his coffee. We've got his fun beard. His shoes are on there. Oh, the other thing I do want to do too is let's get some more light color. One last line. We did the light color, but not the really white highlights. So I'm just coming across this line on the bottom here and really kind of laying in so this looks like a board coming in. I'm going to give some kind of wood green over here a little bit. There we go. Perfect. So we give it more of that wood look at the bottom. All right, guys, so here we have it. In just about an hour and 15 minutes, we created this fun little fall gnome. I think he is absolutely adorable. And I cannot wait to see what you guys create. Oh, as I sit here and look, my little gnome here, his little beard on this side does not look like it should. That's okay. We're going to work that out. There we go. Yay. Silly. Silly, silly. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, all right, guys. Thank you for watching. Please post if you feel like posting up the pictures of what you did. And again, I want to show it just one last time. Here was our inspiration piece. And we've got the But First coffee. If you feel steady enough to use a small detail paintbrush, you're going to use white and black combinations to create that white, black, and gray on there. Use whatever fonts that you want to use. It's But First, ... and then coffee on the other side. I personally am going to use an acrylic marker. I'm going to let this completely dry, and I will come in and put the But First coffee on top of there. And of course, sign your painting. Put your name at the bottom, and I'll do that with also the acrylic pen when I get finished. So thank you for watching September's Paint and Sip.